I'm live. So, welcome to day 3 of my 31-day May 2024 practice challenge. Today, we're going to add another element to our practice routine. We're going to add in some chords. So, a couple of things I want to talk about is basically just keeping it simple. So, I have a very loose structure that I work to start with. As we go on through this, we're going to get more complex in terms of in depth, in terms of what we actually cover. So I'm basically using this as a rough guide. This is my guitar practice planner, Hal Leonard guitar method. It's old school, but it's simple. So it just talks about separating your practice time into chords, scales, arpeggios, songs, licks, riffs, and other. So I'm going to get straight into it. I'm going to start off with my practice routine that I've been doing for the last couple of days, and that's the Pat Metheny stuff from this book here, and do etude number 1 for 5 minutes. So the next thing I recommend you use, I've been talking about various things to keep your practice sort of going, and the first thing really is keep it simple, and then the second thing I talked about was using a timer. So use a timer to set the time that you're going to play for, and then just keep to that, and then that limits how much time you spend on specific things, but also keeps you keen to do it the next day. When it's sounding good, you kind of want to pick it up and go the next day as well. So the third thing that I recommend you use is a metronome. Okay, always good to play with a beat happening. It helps your timing. It's difficult at first, but it really helps your timing. So let's do it. Let's do my Pat Metheny warm up. And here we go. It's started. So I'm going to turn on my metronome. I'm going to do it at 50. Can you hear that? It's coming through. Pop it up here. Okay, here we go. Let's see. So let's see, timing. We're doing 8th notes, so I'm going too fast. There we go. Okay, that's the first line. That's about 50 beats a minute. Let's try it again. Oops, start again. Okay, that's better. Let's have a little go at smoothing that out a little bit. I'm going to turn this up a bit in terms of the tempo. 50 is fine, but I want to go a little faster and go 55. A little bit faster. Oops. That was it. So I messed it up. I'm going to do it again. Same mistake. So okay, let's try from the start. that was it. Cool. Let's do. Just going to put it up a little bit. 56. So just one beat. So I'm going to try the next. I'm going to try the next line or the next bar. Oops. Right. Let's put that all together. Cool, that's sounding fine at that speed. Let's do it 40 seconds on the clock, so let's try that again. Just going to botch it up. 57. Still not fast. Good. That's the first line and first bar of line 2. So, ding, there's my timer just gone off for that exercise, so let's stop that one. 5 minutes on my Pat Metheny warm-ups. And now we're doing the Martin Miller stuff, so hang on, I'm just going to go back and restart that. So, grab my book, Martin Miller, rock guitar soloing. Who's watching? Who's tuned in? Somebody there, I can't see who it is though. So I was working on the chords yesterday, just playing through them, and I'm going to kind of cover that just real quick to remind myself. Oh my gosh. Chuck all this off. This, factor into my practice routine a little bit later on, maybe early next week. There we go. Okay. So let's spend a minute or so just working over those chords, and then I'm going to start working on some of the licks. Now, with this kind of stuff, quite often with modern books, they give you like audio or even video samples, and I find that those are useful to listen to. We tend to ignore them because we can't be bothered downloading them or whatever, understandably. But they are good to hear, actually, really. So, okay, let's do this. So let's start my timer again, like I talked about. And my metronome. So I'm not going to do this at 120, I'm going to take it right down to 50, which is really slow. But, it's good to start slow. So let's do the chord progressions over A and B. So F sharp minor, D with an F sharp, E with an F sharp, F sharp minor, and you do that 3 times. E with an F sharp, oops, F sharp minor, 3rd time, F sharp minor, D, F sharp in the bass, E, I'm getting out of time, yikes, and then F sharp minor, E, section B, F sharp minor, D, E major, A, D, E major, and then you do that 4 times. So I'm not going to carry on with that. I want to check out the actual, I can play it and play the chords. I'm going to check out the licks. So the melodic hard rock licks from the Martin Miller book. I'm going to keep my metronome going. Wow, this is kind of interesting. There's some 5th fret, 7 to 9. Okay. So I don't know how to play this. I'm just literally working this out live. No. So 5th fret, 5 or 6. I need my glasses, which are not here. It's 6. It's a it's a C sharp. So 6th fret. Yeah. Sometimes when you need glasses, it's actually easier to read the little black dots. So 6th fret. So I'm just doing some slides at 6th fret, 7 to 9, 7 to 9. And the way I'm fingering that is 2nd fret, 6th fret, then 3rd finger is going 7 to 9. And then that leaves my 1st finger ready to go up on the 7 to 9. So let's just practice that on the run. And then we've got a pull off from 11 to 9. And he's doing this with all downstrokes, so it's I think that sounded right. 11 to 9, that's 2 frets. Okay. And that's a downstroke as well, so I need to work on that. Okay, now that's not the rhythm. This should all be smooth. So if I'm thinking about it in terms of 4 notes, it's so at 50, that's this speed. So that note is the 5th note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that 5th note lands on beat 2 basically. So oops. There we go. So kind of got it. I haven't practiced that enough to actually have that memorized. Let's turn off the metronome. But that's my timer beeped anyway, so I'm on to the next thing. So that's fine. That's my Martin Miller book done. And now we're going to move on to chords. So just before I get, this timer is going, but just before I get into that, let's talk about what book I'm using. So I have about 10 or 15 chord books, and everything from Ted Green's Chord Chemistry, which is sort of legendary stuff. I've got Tim Lurch's book from last year, which is really good. Don Latarski stuff, kind of everything, just the usual gig bag chord books, which are great because they just show you what to play. But what I'm going to work on this month is the Joe Pass guitar chords book. Now this is something that was recommended to me. I took a lesson from Mike Stern, the fusion guitarist, during lockdown because nobody had anything to do but sit and teach online, which was great. So you got access to all these A-list players that you could just email and get a lesson with them. And he recommended this book to me. And then last year, I was at a Joe Satriani gig, and I did the meet and greet at the start. And he talked about how this is actually one of the books that he first started learning chords from. He didn't understand the chord names and things, and there's a reason for that. It's because this is a very weird book in terms of the way the chords are sort of written out. But Joe was just trying to play through some of these chord shapes and get them under his fingers. Um, so I'm kind of going to take that approach, but I'm also going to analyze them a little bit more in depth and sort of work out how they sit within specific chord progressions and things like that. So the first, I'm just going to literally take one at a time. Start with my major form and just do the very first chord form. And we'll analyze that in this lesson, and then I'm going to figure out some ways to use that. And I'll talk about how I approach chords, arpeggios, and scales in general. Okay, so let's get my timer started. I'm not going to use a metronome for this because I'm basically going to be analyzing a chord shape and getting it under my fingers. I might turn on the metronome if I start playing from one chord to another. So let's do that. Anyway, I'm going to start my timer, and that's going to set my clock running and do the last section of my practice for the day. So 15 minutes in total, which isn't bad. It's not great, you know. I mean, you know, if you want to be professional, you want to be doing like hours and hours a day, but it's better than not doing anything, right? And the whole point of this live stream thing is to show people that, you know, you can just take some really simple stuff and put together a really simple practice routine in a short space of time. To be honest, most of what's taken up the time with this stuff is that I sit and, you know, chat to you guys. But when I'm practicing on my own, I just kind of blast through it. So I literally do like 6 different things, 6 different 5-minute subjects in 30 minutes, you know. So 30 minutes gets me a lot of territory. Anyway, we're going. Right, so let's check out this chord. So this is a major chord form. The chords in this book are all written in the key of C. What does that mean? Because it doesn't mean that all these chords are necessarily a C. They could be different chords. But since we've got a C, E, B, D in the first chord, I'm going to analyze that as if it was a C chord. So there's my chord. Not a particularly difficult chord form. I'm playing, sorry, there's a bit of glare there, but I've got second finger on fret 3, first finger on fret 2 on the D string, and then my third finger is on the B string on fret 3, and my pinky's playing fret 4 on the G string. So there's my chord form, pretty easy shape. But what exactly are we playing? Well, it is a C major chord. I've got a C note, there's my root, then I'm playing the major third, which is E, C, E, and then over here I'm playing the 9th, okay? So this is a D in the key of C. So if you think of D or C as 1, C is also 8 because it's an octave. So D is 9, and then I'm playing the major 7, which is the note right before. It's a B note right underneath my C. So we've got a major 7, a 3. So in order of they appear, I would have a C note, which is my root. I've got an E, which is my major third, so that's defining the major chord already. We're missing out the 5th, but I've got the major 7 note in there, which makes it a major 7 chord, and then on top of that I've got the 9. So that basically makes a major 9 chord. And that's in the key of C, so I can now sort of memorize that and think of that as a C major 9 chord, or a major 9 chord shape. So if I want to play like D major 9, just move it so that my second finger is on the 5th fret, makes it D. Oops. E major 9. Kind of funky, I like that. So I like to sort of put these things in some kind of context, and I like to use various tunes and things. One of my favourite books, which I'll get into later, is actually this one, Guitar, the most popular chord progressions. So I'm going to look for something in a major key, and we've got we've got a 4-to-1 chord progression. Really simple, 2 chords. 4 chord to the 1 chord. So my 4 chord is F. And actually, if I'm playing 4 chord in F, then I can probably use this chord shape actually. So let's see, it's an F chord, so I want to be doing it on the 8th fret, and this would make an F major 9, which I think is okay over the 4 chord. Kind of gives you a Lydian sound maybe. And then down to the root, so the C chord. C major 9. So there's my chord progression for the day. Really simple 1-2 chords. So that's nice and easy because I'm basically taking, going from a 4 to a 1, you can keep the chord shape the exact same and just practice it moving around, but doing it diatonically, so in a key, in other words. So those 2 chords are going to sound good together. Okay, so that's it. That was my timer. So I'm just going to log off on my time. And that's 15 minutes for the day. Let's see what it says. So that's fine. And finish. And I have had 3 days in a row. 3-day streak. That's great. And that is me done. Day 3 of 31. So really simple. Just a quick 15-minute thing. 5 minutes on each thing. This will get more coherent as I go along. Obviously I'm still unplugged and stuff. I'm testing out different bits of technology. I've got my kit behind me. I could just use that, but there's other things I want to do with all this. So anyway, that's kind of it. It's Friday, and yeah. Relax, have a beer with your practicing. Get practicing, and you know, obviously not if you're a kid. Don't drink beer, don't drink alcohol. You know, drugs are bad. But relax, do what you want to do, make your practice time fun, and remember the 3 simple principles that we've talked about. 1, keep it simple. 2, use a timer, and then you know when you're starting and when you're stopping. And 3, today's lesson, get a metronome. Metronomes are difficult to play with if you haven't done them to start with, but once you get into it, it's great. It works a treat. Now, what does this stuff do? Just before I log off, I'm trying to live chat. All messages are visible. What does that mean? Welcome to live chat. I'm just trying to figure out how to turn on my chat. Top chat. There's no chat. That's probably why. What's this button do? Oh, we learn such stuff with technology. I don't know. Anyway, cool. That's it for today. I'll be back on tomorrow where I'll add another element to my practice routine, and we'll see how it goes. So have a good Friday night. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the May the 4th be with you Saturday practice. Cool. Have a good night, guys. Bye for now. How do I even turn this stuff off? This isn't working. Ah! Wow, technology. Okay, I'm going to have an embarrassing couple of minutes while I try to figure out how to turn off my live stream. Honestly, who hires this guy to do technology stuff? That's what I'm looking for.